Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. So today we will be going out to the Great Barrier Reef, and it was a hella early morning start.
They wake up angry at the
So we had to take the ferry from Daydream Island to Hamilton Island, and from Hamilton Island we took another ferry to the Great Barrier Reef. We decided to hire out a GoPro from the cruise ship people so that we can have some great footage to film for you guys. As you can see here, I was testing it out and I really wasn't in the mood for any fun and games. Your girl was seasick.
The game today can last for about 1.5 hours, but your introductory dive is just about half an hour in the water. So I can guarantee plenty of air for you when you're in the water. And the second gauges is telling you how deep you are. To start your dive, we won't just take you to the middle ocean, don't worry. Before you start the dive, we will bring you down to a swimming pool area. So at that point, we just put a mask on.
So at this point we were arriving at the platoon, and the platoon is like a building on water. It's essentially where we do everything that we want to do at the Great Barrier Reef. There's hotels there so you can stay. Well, it's not really a hotel. You can sleep there. That's where you get your wetsuits, your stinger suits, your flippers. You can go there as a dock to do everything you want to do, such as scuba diving, the submarine, and all that kind of fun stuff. So at this point we were arriving at the platoon and we were getting ready to get all our stuff together, our wetsuits and our flippers and stuff. So this is the submarine that you can see here, which we did end up doing later on. And this is the ferry that we came in. So as you can see, everybody's coming off to get ready, to get their suits and everything. It was a bit of a mad dash and it was a bit chaotic, but we got there. No COVID protocols were observed at this point. But yeah, so this is the submarine. And that's the ferry that we came on. A very, very bumpy ferry at that. Here are people snorkeling, so you can snorkel for free. You just get your wetsuit and stuff and you go in and have a look. You can also do scuba diving and guided snorkels. So we decided to do scuba diving. At this point, we're just having a look from the top view of the boat.
Before we got off the boat, they taught us some signs as a way of communicating in the water. So before we got into the water, I had to make sure homegirl understood the signs. Do you still remember the signs?
Go down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm not okay. Help, emergency, I'm not okay.
Of which those last three were for when you are
Snorkeling.
Good. That's me putting on that's me telling you I don't want to see any crazy signs that are not those signs which we just went through.
At this point, I'm getting fitted for my air tank and all my scuba stuff, my weights. They put weights on you so you sink in the water, as well as she's just telling me what not to touch, what to touch, and how to navigate the, what do you call it? The breathing thing?
What a little princess. She's asking for her flippers.
I'd forgotten my flippers.
Yeah, I look nice in that wetsuit, huh? You didn't know wetsuits could look so sexy.
At this point, Farai was getting fitted for his as well, the same thing, getting his weights, getting his little breathing thing, and just getting a debrief on how to use everything, how to clear your airways.
Mind you, these things are heavy. That tank is extremely heavy. The tank that you have on your back, very heavy.
I'm pretty sure it weighs pretty much nearly as much as you weigh.
Okay, so now there's a little boat that takes us to the site at which we're going to scuba. That's Tatenda's boyfriend.
His name is Marcos. We had a really great relationship.
That guy, that's the guy who caused all this. He's the one that convinced her to then force me to go scuba diving. We are from Africa. I don't like to play with water, guys.
At this point, we're going down to the training pool. The
Yeah.
training pool also leads to the water. So it's actually under the water, and there's a certain point where there's no ground. There's no that little cage that we're standing on. So we train there, we learn everything there, and then we go and scuba from under there. So at this point, Marcos has decided that I'm going to be his partner. There he is.
I don't know why I didn't ever say in this.
There he is putting my flippers on, and we're
That's me
learning.
practicing to blow bubbles and just practicing to breathe underwater. So you essentially breathe in and out through your mouth. Very awkward selfie, isn't it? That's Tatenda and a little boyfriend.
I have no boyfriends. I only have one husband, okay? I have friends.
Homegirl's blowing her bubbles, blowing away.
At this point,
Pause! Pause! Remember, I will take you guys back. Remember this sign, which means I'm not okay. If you look closely, Tatenda just did that sign. Okay, so like any responsible husband, while she was panicking, I was busy recording fish because I knew she would want me to record fish. But she panicked and did not want to go. Yet it was her idea for us to be in the water in the first place. What happened?
guys, it wasn't my time, okay? I panicked. I honestly panicked, and I mind over matter, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I really panicked, and I lost it, to be honest. But Marcos calmed me down.
I tried to, and he led me away.
Marcos, as soon as Farai wanted to have a chat with me and be like, what's wrong, babe? Like, what's going on? Marcos was like, everybody go, everybody go. He was not having it. So it was just me and Marcos left to chat and decide what we were going to do.
Who knows what happened when I wasn't there?
It was just a pep talk, guys. Nothing happened.
Meanwhile, I was now in the water, swimming away. That's me there. And this is when we had just entered. That guy in front, his name was Wendy.
Yeah.
Yes, guy with the name Wendy, let it go. But he was such a nice dude, and he was sort of, watching. At this point, he's actually coming behind me to add more weight because I kept floating to the surface. I would not sink. They were trying their best to make sure that my body sinks, but I kept going to the surface. And that's a bit of the barrier reef. That's me again with my friend. She was holding my hand. So she was holding, the whole time you're never alone. You have someone to guide you. So the instructor swims with you throughout the entire swim. So it's a really, I would say it's quite safe, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say so. If you're wondering where Tatenda is at this point, she's having a panic attack with Marco. She is still at the training pool.
Meanwhile, I'm living my best life.
Clearly, we see.
But I was worried about you. I was interceding for you and praying.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, babe. I appreciate that.
But yeah, it's really beautiful. I'm really glad that we got this camera. So that's the rest of the people who were swimming with us there.
At this point, I can see Farai and all the rest of the people who went out with him because we went from a different area, which wasn't as daunting. We went from down the stairs on the side of that the place where they went from. So I could actually see them swimming past. So that's when I was feeling a little bit more calm, and I decided to go into the water. And we first started off, for me, just going at the surface before Marco started sneakily decreasing my my life jacket.
It's like a life jacket or vest. So the more inflated it is, the more you rise to the surface. So the more they deflate it, you start to sink. The rule, however, is that you can't touch any of the coral or any of the reef. You can only look. It's a bit like the Zayoja girls' motto, which says you can look but you can't touch.
And I have funny footage. It's a bit shaky there.
Excuse me. Look who finally decided to join us.
It's me. Look at me and my bubbles.
Yeah, he's asking if we're okay. That's her with the little pink fins.
At this point, I had calmed down and I was really starting to enjoy the experience. Me and Marcos had gotten in the same rhythm of breathing, and I was really calm at this point.
You're meant to kick from your hips. You seem to be kicking from your knees.
So long as I'm kicking, that's what matters.
Around this time, my ears started to get extremely sore. And they had mentioned that if your ears get sore, it's good to speak up because sometimes they might not get better. So, as you go down, you're meant to,
Acclimate. So you have to
Please speak in language we understand.
You have to pop your ears like when you do when you're on a plane. So you have to acclimate. The lower you go, each time you go down, your ears will block. So you have to hold your nose and blow out. So you acclimate and you pop your ears.
What she said. So yeah, my ears started to get really sore. I was trying to acclimate, whatever it's called. But it wasn't working. So I was now requesting if they could take me to the surface because I was really in a lot of pain. This is why the footage is so horrible. This is me talking to them saying, fire, please. Can you take me up? Take me up. And they were quite very hesitant at the start. But eventually I got up to the surface and I was able to talk to that guy, Wendy. I can't remember the girl who I was with. But I was able to explain to him that my ears are really sore. And he's like, oh, it's okay, let's go down. Maybe they just need to get used to it. So eventually, I actually ended up swimming with him and instead of the girl, because I think he's more experienced. So this is me swimming with him. You can see that I'm not having any fun anymore.
But honestly, if you look at it, it's absolutely stunning. You just see the magnitude
and my forehead.
And Farai's forehead. And the beauty of God's creations. Like, honestly, this is all underwater and just there, so it's absolutely stunning.
And you can see that these people behind me are actually a lot lower. Like I was saying, they had a hard time making my body sink. I just kept floating.
So that's the photographer getting photos of everyone. So there's photos that we were taking that you could purchase for an exorbitant amount of price, but an exorbitant amount of money.
English, yeah,
But it is. There's me and Marcos.
And what's that gesture mean? What does that mean?
I don't know, you tell me.
That is a very rude Italian gesture.
Can you not see I'm waving at you, my husband?
But why is that guy giving me that?
I don't know.
It means some stuff which we can't say on this channel because this is a PG-rated channel.
I didn't know he was doing that. I was having fun, okay? There I am with my pink flippers. We are going back up to the other side, to the platoon. So we went from the platoon to the other boat, and then they snorkeled from there, and now we're back at the platoon.
Honestly, I've cut out a lot of footage, but the whole swim is about 30, maybe 40 minutes. Again. So this is us back on the surface.
And this is them telling me how amazing I did and how I'm such a trooper, how I'm so good and so confident and I did so well.
And this is the next group of people. So they actually have 2 dives for people who are new like us and for people who are licensed divers who can go like deeper.
So at this point we had finished our drive. Can you see how heavy the thing is even getting out of the water? It's so heavy, you have to like clunk yourself down. After we got to eat lunch, somebody, what happened, brother? So after we had finished our scuba diving and we had some lunch buffet, whatever you want to call it, we went and did the submarine. But it's not called a submarine. I think it's called a something else because it's a boat and a submarine. It's not fully under the water. But anyway, you go in there, you sit down and you get to see the Great Barrier Reef. It's honestly not as good as snorkeling, or it's not as good as scuba diving, but if you don't want to scuba dive, you don't want to snorkel, it's a good way to see the Great Barrier Reef and the fish and things like that. But obviously, you don't get to see as much as you do when you're actually in the water. So you got to see some really interesting fishes. I don't think they're edible at all. And you got to see the reef. Altogether, the boat ride, the sub drive is like, I think it's about 10 minutes or so. It's not that exciting or anything like that. It's quite underwhelming after the snorkeling.
So just to put things into perspective, you pay to actually get taken to the Great Barrier Reef. And then if you want to scuba, it's an extra fee. And if you want to have a guided snorkel tour, it's an extra fee. But this submarine thing is free, which is probably why it's not that good. I'm not going to see all.
And also the snorkeling that we showed you guys at the start, that one is free as well.
So there's a free snorkel and a paid one where they like take you probably where it's nicer and guide you through it. Then you can also actually sleep there. You can either sleep on the roof under the stars, so pretty much panze in the open. You're paying to sleep panze in the open, in a tent.
At the Great Barrier Reef.
And or you can sleep in the Reef Hotel, which is actually under that platoon. So you're essentially sleeping in a room that's underwater, which is pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, gang gang.
Gang rape.
at our eyes just darting all over the place.
Oh, my toes.
You're the one who was filming. You tell me why you were filming my toes. So as you can see, guys, it's really quite underwhelming when you compare it to what you get to see when you actually go in the water.
But you won't get sore ears.
But you
And
don't
there's
get
no
to
risk of drowning.
You don't get to tick anything off your bucket list. So this is after we are getting ready to go back. We are on the ferry to go back to Hamilton Island. The ferry is so cold. It's freezing in there. As you can see, we have all our jackets and stuff. I had taken seasickness tablets at this point. They sell them on the boat for $5, which I purchased because on the way there, it was an interesting journey. So this is Wendy doing some tricks or whatever he was doing for kids who were a little bit upset because of the, I was going to say turbulence, because of the, what do they call it? Is it still turbulence?
Seasickness, motion.
Motion sick because of the motion in the ocean, as they called it on the boat, the motion in the ocean. So he's just keeping them entertained, and seemed he was keeping Farai entertained too, because Tate was feeling hella drowsy. One of the side effects of seasickness tablets is drowsiness.
You ready? Don't throw them both at once because don't yourself. Ready? Ready? Steady. Go. Throw the first one. And the other one. Throw the other one.
When I'm not when I'm on drugs, someone's drowsy from the seasickness medication that they took. I should do a time lapse until you fall asleep.
So as you can see, this is not Farai moving the camera or anything like that. This is how bad the motion in the ocean is. Like, the waves are intense and people will be like walking around holding on to things. Things will be falling all over the place because it's just that bad for like 30 minutes before you get to the Great Barrier Reef. So when you're coming back, it's like the first 30 minutes and then after it's a smooth journey. Altogether, how long is the ferry ride?
It's quite long. It's about an hour to 2 hours.
Yeah, it was quite a long journey, so you really have to sit down and get comfortable.